MEC is actually helping to lead Gauteng's response to the outbreak while also advancing innovation and collaboration across the sector. MEC Ramokgopa, thank you very much for the time. Welcome to Channel Africa.
Good afternoon, Mmatsheko, and to everybody who is viewing and listening today. It's such a pleasure to be with you.
Thank you very much. I'd like us to begin with a brief overview. Perhaps you can just give us an overview of the current situation regarding foot and mouth disease, and specifically in the Gauteng province, and what the experience is at the moment.
Absolutely, Mmatsheko. As you've correctly said, foot and mouth disease is a disease. It's a viral disease that has really wreaked havoc across the livestock sector in the entire country. It is a national issue in that every single province is affected, but of course, given Gauteng's central role and location as a logistics hub, as a retail center and a place where a big segment of the population is, we do get, we are prone to high infections because of the movement of livestock in and out of the province. So as it stands right now, we have reported and confirmed 250 active outbreaks that are still currently active. 3 have been closed, i.e., the farms, after going through a quarantine period, have now been declared FMD-free. We've also, of course, started our mass vaccination campaign, which should help to start to see a slowdown in the infection rates. But to date, we've administered over 300,000 vaccines ever since the beginning of the outbreak in April 2025. And now, as we are getting access to more vaccines, that is, of course, increasing. Just also quickly, in terms of the breakdown and the profile of the farms that we are seeing these 250 cases,
right.
A large portion is commercial farms. So we have about 127 cases from commercial farms. Second to that is your communal farms and your communal livestock farms. And then third, we have about 17 cases that are dairy farms and 10 that are feedlots. And then a few of the rest is a combination of kind of stud farms, people who are keeping livestock, maybe not necessarily farmers, but people who are livestock traders, etc. But the vast majority, of course, is in the commercial sector and in the communal farming sector.
Right. Well, thank you for that. I think it's wonderful to see that there is so much pragmatic action that's been taken towards containing and managing the disease, as it were. But what have been the biggest concerns? Because I know you speak and engage with the farmers themselves. What are their biggest concerns around livestock, with the livestock producers, as it were, around the outbreak?
Well, of course, I mean, the top concern for farmers is around, maintaining livelihoods and the economic losses that they have experienced as a result of the foot and mouth disease. Now, foot and mouth disease in and of itself does not result in high mortality in cattle, but it does have an impact on, the price of the cattle, the demand that the market demand, and therefore the price. And so, and even, when there's restrictions around movement control and movement of animals, that of course makes it difficult to move livestock to auction sites, etc., and other areas where you would be able to trade. So that has been a really massive concern for people. The dairy sector has been particularly hard hit. We visited a dairy farm recently where we were doing a vaccination drive, and they had estimated that they've incurred about 60% losses in terms of their profit, under normal circumstances. Whatever that they would be producing, they've now taken a 60% loss on that in terms of the value and the economic output. And it's partly because the infected animals also produce less. But actually, it's difficult to even on-sell some of that produce because of stigma issues, people being concerned that maybe it'll infect humans, etc., etc. So it has been quite a challenge, and one that we are trying to work with the sector to come up with solutions that obviously can enable us to arrest the spread, i.e. do what we need to do to arrest the spread, but also ensure that we don't unduly impact or harm people's livelihoods and incomes.
All right. If you've just started listening, thank you for tuning in. We are in conversation with the MEC for Agriculture and Rural Development in the Gauteng province in South Africa, Vuyiswa Ramokgopa, and we're talking about the containment and management of foot and mouth disease. Very, very important at this time. Of course, we've been following the news on a national level, but I thought it very, very important to look at how provinces are dealing with this very serious issue. Let's talk about how Gauteng is working with national government, MEC, as well as other supporting spaces, the veterinary services, as well as other industry bodies. How are you coordinating and working with one another so that you can get to a unified response, as it were?
Absolutely. So, I mean, the national government and the National Department of Agriculture are primarily responsible for, overseeing the country's FMD response, because it is, as I said, a national issue, but more importantly, it is a trade-sensitive disease and one that is actually regulated by the World Organization of Animal Health, to which we are signatories, and we are accountable to the World Organization of Animal Health in terms of our ability to export and to trade with other countries. So it is, there's no kind of, even if Gauteng were to be FMD free, that doesn't help our exports, because if any province or any city is infected, it reflects on the whole country. But that being said, Gauteng has also, we've kind of stepped up and said we want to also look at some of the particular issues that are facing us here, and we've developed a plan that enables us really to deal with 4 key elements. One, which is movement control and ensuring that we can limit and or at least oversee the movement of animals in and out of the province and to places of trade. So for that, we've implemented movement control protocols, and farmers have actually been requested that if they are intending to move their animals, even if it's interprovincially, they need to get the proper certifications. You spoke a bit about coordination with other spheres of government and other departments and institutions. That's very crucial, because enforcement of the regulations is very key. And for that to happen effectively, we've had to bring on board, the security cluster, the law enforcement and traffic and road enforcement agencies, so that we can actually roll out roadblocks and checks, have the correct checks being done at the points of entry and exit of the province. So there are those roadblocks that have actually also been rolled out, and the purpose of them is to monitor compliance. If people are bringing livestock into the province, do they have the requisite paperwork? If there's if they have been vaccinated, do they have the proper paperwork and the proper branding on the animals to ensure that they can prove ownership, etc. So those are the types of things that we've really been focusing on. And then the other key pillar for us has been around actually coordinating the various stakeholders in the industry, because again, this is not our battle alone to fight. The auctioneer sector is very critical, because a lot of actually the infection, the high infection sites are auction sites. We've had to bring the sector on board to work with us to ensure that they are not accepting livestock that is infected. They are not accepting livestock that doesn't have the proper paperwork, etc. And we've set up different regional multi-stakeholder consultative forums so that we can get farmers in the room, farmers across the board, from your traditional communal farms to your commercial farms, dairy farms, and so on, as well as industry bodies and the local municipalities. Very, very key. We operate at a provincial level, but municipal and local level government is also very important in enabling us to enforce a lot of the regulations that we have in place. So it does require massive coordination from top to bottom, implementing the national FMD plan, but also making sure that right down to a neighborhood level, a ward level, you have, accurate information that is being disseminated and that you are getting it to the desired recipient. So enhancing communication has also been a very, very key pillar for us.
Of course. Very, very important. And I mean, it gives us hope to hear just how you are working together, collectively with other supporting fraternities to curb the disease. But we're also seeing an increase interest, if you will, in technology within agriculture. So let's look at
Yes.
that. When we look at innovation and, these smart farming tools, how can those assist in disease monitoring, in issues around surveillance and response?
Absolutely. Technology plays such a critical role. And I think we must admit that we've lagged behind as government in terms of our use of technology to assist us to proactively, proactively, anticipate some of these issues and potential outbreaks. But number two, like you correctly say, to do accurate surveillance, geo-mapping, and monitoring of
Right.
the outbreaks. We do have systems in place, but we've actually since this recent outbreak have engaged with other tech providers who are able to get us really live, up to the minute, geo-tagged information, data that is live and available as we are rolling out the vaccination campaign, but also to be able to see where the high risk areas are, so you can actually see sort of geo-mapped where everything is. And it's a core part of our broad focus on biosecurity. I mean, even before the outbreak, there were big issues of stock theft, for example. Stock theft, where people, steal livestock and move it cross border, and it's never to be seen again. And so livestock identification and tracing has been a core focus of the Department of Agriculture for some time, but certainly technology has an ability to enhance our efforts and help us to achieve a level of accuracy in being able to identify, track and trace. I mean, even now, sorry, just lastly with the vaccinations. Every single vaccine that is administered comes in a bottle with a QR code. That QR code is linked to the ear tag unique identifier that is placed on the ear of every single cow that is vaccinated.
Right.
And that enables us to ensure that when we come back and want to do the booster shots, that we have accurate data about that specific animal, when it would have received its last vaccine, everything about it. What size is it? Where is it from? Who owns it? Etc. Etc. And that helps us to start building up that bank of data to ensure that we also prevent these types of outbreaks in future.
Right. Very reassuring. But, I think conversation very, very important, and creating spaces for, I guess, public engagement is also important. But with that said, anything that you would like to leave the farmer with as we wrap up our conversation, and the various stakeholders who are still feeling so concerned about the future of the livestock sector? There is so much anxiety around that. Any last words when it comes to the sector and the livestock sector in South Africa?
Yeah, I think, my message really to the sector, to the farmers, and to everybody whose livelihood is dependent on the livestock sector is that we need to get all hands on deck. This cannot and will never be government's problem alone to resolve. We really are opening our doors to say, let's work closer with all role players in the industry and all those who can assist us in curbing this. And one of the key ways in which we can do that is also minimizing misinformation. There is often a desire or a tendency to start to, in the desperation, people are willing to hear and listen to whatever. But I really would encourage those who are wanting to be constructive and assist to say, make sure that you are accessing reliable sources of information, minimize the spread of misinformation, and more importantly, help us to help you. There's one of the challenges we have is underreporting. And we can't fight an enemy we can't see. So we really, really encourage farmers not to worry if there's an issue, if you suspect, even if you just suspect that your livestock is infected.
Yeah.
You can get in touch with the department. You can get a state vet to come out and confirm that, and we will then be able to assist. And really just to say, this really requires all of us, and we want to work with the industry to resolve this challenge once and for all.
Absolutely. Well, thank you very much. I think I really just want to thank you for the work that you're doing in agriculture in the Gauteng province. I remember in your keynote at the recently held AgriTech Africa conference and exhibition, you basically mentioning how much of an oxymoron it is that there is a rural development and agriculture sector in Gauteng. But it is
Yes.
very, very critical, especially when we look at this particular province as an economic hub. So thank you very much. We are definitely going to be watching what the department is doing on a national level, at a provincial level. Follow the correct channels, okay? Listen to Channel Africa, and of course, follow the
Yes.
departments on social media. All the relevant information is there. Thank you once again, MEC, for your time.
Thank you so much, Seko, and thank you for giving us an opportunity once again to tell our story.